Varys sees the problem before everyone else. The plan is supposed to be simple. Ned Stark confesses, takes the black and disappears to the wall. Joffrey gets a public victory, Cersei gets the throne secured, and the realm avoids a sudden explosion. But Varys knows Joffrey is not controllable. If Joffrey executes Ned, the North rises in fury. The Riverlands burn harder, and the war becomes emotional instead of manageable. That is not useful for Varys. He wants the realm weakened over time for Aegon's arrival, not shattered so brutally that the small folk are destroyed before the right claimant can land. So Varys changes the move. Before the Sept of Baelor scene, he uses the tunnels under the Red Keep, bribed jailers, bought gold cloaks, and his little birds to move Ned out of the black cells. Ned alive means a longer war, a cleaner war. A war led by a seasoned commander instead of a furious boy everyone underestimates. And for Varys, that is much more useful than Joffrey's impulsive execution. Hello everyone, and welcome to Storyteller's Codex. Here we delve deep into the rich lore of the Lord of the Rings, a song of ice and fire, and the vast worlds beyond. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Varys cannot move Ned alone. He needs someone with skill, honour, and enough anger at Joffrey to take a dangerous step. That points straight to Barristan Selmy. Barristan has just been dismissed from the Kingsguard in public. Joffrey humiliates him, the court laughs, and a knight who served kings for decades is thrown aside like an old cloak. Varys approaches him with the exact information that matters. Joffrey is not Robert's son. Cersei's children are Jaime's. Ned is imprisoned because he discovered the truth, but also because he tried to warn Cersei and spare the children. That last part hits Barristan hard. He remembers Rhaegar's children. He remembers Elia Martell. He remembers what happened when the innocent were not protected. And there is another reason Varys chooses him. Barristan once rescued Aerys from Duskendale almost single-handedly. He knows how to enter a guarded place and get a king out alive. Now he helps Varys get Ned Stark out of King's Landing. Not for politics first, for honour. Ned and Barristan do not run straight for Winterfell. The war is already forming in the Riverlands. Robb is marching south. Riverrun is under pressure. Tywin's men have been burning villages and Gregor Clegane has turned the fighting into terror. So Ned goes where his army is. He is weak, injured and still recovering from prison, but he is alive. That alone changes the entire Stark camp. Robb is no longer marching to avenge a dead father. He is marching to join the living Lord of Winterfell. Catelyn gets Ned back. The Northern Lords get the man they followed for years. The Riverlords get a leader whose word carries weight beyond immediate revenge. Barristan's presence matters almost as much. This is not only Ned claiming Joffrey is false. This is Ned Stark standing beside Barristan the Bold, one of the most respected knights in the realm. That makes the accusation harder to dismiss as Northern rebellion. The war is now about law, succession, and the corruption of Joffrey's court. The Lannisters lose the story they needed. They wanted Ned to confess as a traitor, accept guilt, and vanish to the wall. Even if people doubted the details, the public record would be useful. But Ned escapes before the confession can become their weapon. Now he can speak clearly. Robert's will was ignored. Joffrey is not Robert's son. Cersei and Jaime committed incest. Jon Arryn and Stannis had already been following the same trail. The Book of Lineages, Robert's bastards, and the Baratheon black hair all point in the same direction. Cersei can deny it. Tywin can call it treason. Pycelle can support the official line. But the problem is no longer contained inside King's Landing. The Riverlords already hate the Lannisters for the raids. The North is already armed. The Vale becomes harder for Lyssa to keep silent. Stormlords who dislike Stannis may still wonder if Joffrey's crown is rotten. Joffrey still holds the Iron Throne, but Ned Stark is alive, and the lie is moving faster than ravens can bury it. This meeting has to happen before Stannis and Renly face each other. Ned sends word to Dragonstone, then meets Stannis through the Riverlands, and Stormland contacts before the Baratheon split reaches its breaking point. Davos carries messages. Catelyn no longer needs to go to Renly as Robb's envoy, because Ned is alive and leading the political side himself. Ned does not like Stannis much, but he believes the law. Stannis is Robert's elder surviving brother. If Joffrey, Tommen and Myrtella are not Robert's children, the throne passes to Stannis. That keeps Robb from being crowned king in the north. Great John Umber may still want independence. Some Riverlords may want revenge more than legal order, but Ned will not let them create another crown while Robert's lawful heir exists. So the North and Riverlands join Stannis, not because Stannis is loved, because Ned's word makes his claim feel real. Now Stannis has Dragonstone, part of the Narrow Sea Lords, the North, the Riverlands, Barristan, Davos and Ned Stark behind him. That is a much stronger claim than he ever had alone. The alliance gives Stannis power, but it also limits him. Melisandre still matters. She has visions, she has confidence. She speaks of the Lord of Light, Azor Ahai, and the war against darkness. Stannis listens because she offers certainty when everyone else offers politics. But Ned changes the room. Ned will not accept shadow assassinations as justice. Barristan will not accept it either. Davos already fears what Melisandre is doing to Stannis. Together, those three voices make the price of dark magic much higher. If Stannis uses sorcery to kill Renly, he risks losing the very alliance that made him powerful. So Renly lives, and that is the trade. Stannis gains legitimacy through Ned, but loses the shortcut that would have removed his younger brother. Renly still has the reach. Mace Tyrell wants Margaery as queen. Loras wants Renly crowned. Randil Tarly, Mathis Rowan, and the Stormlords around Renly give him a huge army. The war no longer moves toward one clean Baratheon victory, it moves toward a collision. Littlefinger cannot safely join Ned now. He betrayed Ned in King's Landing. If he tries to present himself as a friend of the Stark-Stannis alliance, Barristan, Ned, and Catelyn all become dangerous witnesses against him. But Littlefinger also does not love the Lannisters. He thinks Cersei is reckless. He thinks Joffrey is stupid. Tywin is useful, but not someone Littlefinger wants to serve forever. So he looks for the side that gives him room to maneuver. Renly is perfect. Renly is charming, popular, connected to the Tyrells, and less interested in old crimes than Stannis or Ned. Through Lysa, Littlefinger can push the veil toward Renly while pretending it is about stability, not self-protection. That changes the board again. Renly now has the reach, much of the Stormlands, and the possibility of veil strength through Lysa Arryn. Stannis has Ned, Robb, the Riverlands, Dragonstone, Barristan, and Davos. The Lannisters still hold King's Landing. Three powers are now moving at once, and none of them can ignore the others. Tywin sees the danger clearly. Joffrey's claim is under attack. Ned is alive. Stannis has the lawful argument. Robb is no longer an isolated young king, but a commander under Ned and Stannis. Renly is gathering the Reach, Stormlords, and possibly the Vale, so Tywin looks for a way to split his enemies. Balon Greyjoy wants a crown, but Tywin does not need to offer that. He offers something more practical. The Iron Islands confirmed, plus lordship over the Riverlands if the Ironborn help break the Stark-Tully coalition. It echoes the old kingdom of Harren the Black, when Ironborn kings ruled from the Riverlands before Aegon burned Harrenhal. Balon accepts because it feeds his pride without requiring him to fight the whole south alone. The Ironborn attack the north and the river coast. Theon becomes a weapon against the Starks. Asher strikes western targets. Victarion threatens sea lanes. Moat Cailin, Seaguard, Deepwood Motte and the Stony Shore all become pressure points. Tywin does not need the Ironborn to win the war by themselves. He needs them to make Ned's armies look back. The main war becomes a three-way trap. Renly and Stannis are preparing to fight each other because neither brother will yield. Renly has numbers and popularity, Stannis has law, and Ned Stark. Both believe they are the only answer to the Lannister regime. Tywin waits for the moment after they damage each other. If Renly and Stannis fight near the Stormlands or Crownlands, the Lannisters can strike from King's Landing or Harrenhal. If the Northern and Riverlord forces commit too far south, the Ironborn raids become worse behind them. Robb is still dangerous in the field. Brynden Blackfish is still one of the best commanders in the Riverlands. Edmure can still hold River Run. Barristan gives the coalition battlefield experience, but now they are stretched between Renly, Tywin, and Balon. Renly's camp has its own problems. The Tyrells do not want a long war that destroys the Reach's advantage. The Vale Lords may not fully trust Littlefinger or Lyssa's sudden direction. Stormlords are being asked to fight Stannis, another son of Steffon Baratheon. Everyone has strength. Nobody has control. And the longer the war stalls, the worse the news from the north becomes. The first breaking point is not King's Landing, it is the Wall. Ravens bring worse reports. Mance Rayder is gathering the Free Folk. The Night's Watch is weak. Benjen is still missing. Dead men have risen. The stories old Nan told children are starting to sound like military intelligence. Melisandre sees it in the flames, snow, darkness, dead things moving south. Not just a war for a crown, but a war that makes the crown look small. Then Ned has a dream. Bran, the three-eyed raven, the weirwood roots, Winterfell's heart tree, and a sense of something ancient waking in the far north. Ned may not understand all of it, but he understands enough to be afraid. Now Ned and Melisandre, who distrust each other completely, are warning Stannis about the same threat from different directions. Davos listens, Barristan listens, Robb listens because it concerns the north. Stannis has to choose. Continue the fight against Renly, Tywin and Joffrey, or turn north before the realm is too broken to defend itself. That is where this version of the war becomes dangerous. Varys saved Ned to create a longer, cleaner war. Instead, he may have kept alive the one man stubborn enough to drag the war for the throne toward the war that actually matters. If you're interested in The Lord of the Rings or A Song of Ice and Fire, click one of the links on the screen to dive deeper into the lore. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next time.